The major goal of CIAM is to drive the revenue growth by leveraging identity data to acquire and retain customers. It will build an identity-centric ecosystem to nurture an anonymous website visitor into a well-known loyal customer. We have come across multiple phases in the past, and today at the age of customer, identity has become the glue for all contextual marketing. In doing that, in our journey towards CIAM, we face multiple challenges. In a typical workflow, many follow to onboard a customer. We start with an anonymous website visitor, then nurture this anonymous website visitor to a lead and to a qualified lead, and finally to a customer. There can be multiple variations of this flow, and we could be using multiple channels to onboard customers. Then when we have multiple channels, multiple points of connections and data sources, that lead us into another problem. Data related to the anonymous users may reside under marketing data sources. Data with respect to leads and sales might be under CRM data sources, and the identity data of customers would be under the IAM system. So with this approach, we'll end up having siloed data sources, and those siloed data sources may not know how to talk to each other. 52% of marketing leaders responsible for data and analytics believe data integration and data management are the most time-consuming activities. And also, over 1/3 of marketers say their inability to integrate data is the biggest obstruction to the success of the analytics team. This is a real challenge which we need to find a solution to. Then protecting consumer data at large scale. Unlike in workforce IAM, in a typical CIAM system, we work with millions of users. So we need to worry about how we securely store the PII data of these users and preserve privacy. This is another challenging area we need to worry about. When we build a CIAM solution to address these challenges, these are the core functional requirements we need to worry about. All of them are very much self-explanatory, so I won't go into the details. Then again, what matters most here is how you build these core CIAM features while addressing some of the key non-functional requirements, which we call as 5 pillars of CIAM. What you, your customers and your partners experience is the tip of the iceberg. So that's the experience your CIAM solution is building. Underneath, to build the right level of user experience, you need to worry about these 5 pillars. Scalability is one of the key requirements in any CIAM system. Unlike in workforce IAM, in CIAM, the difference between the average load and the peak load is considerable. So in a traditional way, if you provision your hardware to address the peak load, you will end up wasting a lot of your resources. In one of the financial institutes we worked with, they were building a CIAM solution for over 1.5 million customers. On an average day, they expect 350,000 logins, having daily peak times around 9 to 10, 12 to 1, and 3 to 4 p.m. So if we assume 300,000 users will log into the system during this 3 hours peak time, the expected load per minute would be around 1,700 users. But in 2 days every month, they expect 5,000 logins a second. So that is 300,000 users per minute. Those 2 days are in fact the payday and the day after that. So the average load is 1,700 logins per minute, while the peak load is 300,000 logins per minute. That's a huge difference between the average load and the peak. So just having the ability to address scalability needs is not just enough. Your CIAM system should know how to auto scale up and down based on the demand. Then the security. If you handle any customer data, the security should be one of the topmost priorities. You would need to worry about how your CIAM system stores and processes PII data. And also, from the customer's point of view, they do expect some control around how you collect, store, manage, and share their personal data. Any misuse of customer data, whether deliberate or not, can significantly damage the brand equity. Yahoo, for example, was in the middle of a series of data breaches a few years back that exposed the PII data of more than 1 billion users. That did cost the company 350 million USD. They had to lower the sales price of its email and the other digital services, which they sold to Verizon from 4.83 billion to 4.48 billion to account for the potential backslash from the data breaches. Usability is another key aspect. There are three types of users who need access to your CIAM system: your customers, some of your employees, and the partners. The customers demand low friction access both during the login flow and during the registration flow. Then some of your employees, like the help desk administrators or the CXOs. CXOs especially would expect your CIAM system to build dashboards to give a better business oversight. Then comes the extensibility. So both the extensibility and the developer focus go hand in hand. Organizations need to continuously improve the level of consumer engagement and adapt to the changes in technology, business models, competitions, regulations, and customer experiences or customer preferences. To address that, you need an agile, event-driven CIAM platform that can flex to meet both new business opportunities and new challenges. So your CIAM system should be able to address common CIAM needs out of the box, while its architecture should permit extending the platform to address unique business requirements. That's why we see CIAM is a solution you build, not just a single product you buy. Then again, there's a misconception that some do sell CIAM as a product. If you are familiar with ESB or the enterprise service bus, this is quite similar to how some sold ESB as SOA or service-oriented architecture probably a decade back when SOA and ESB were quite popular. SOA is in fact a pattern, and ESB, along with other integration tools and proper architectural designs, help you build a service-oriented architecture. ESB itself, you cannot call it SOA. The same analogy applies to CIAM. And identity provider itself alone does not bring in CIAM. It's an integrated system that you need to build with other business systems like CRM systems, marketing platforms, e-commerce platforms, fraud detection systems, risk engines, then content management systems, data management platforms, and so on. To cater these requirements, your CIAM solution has to be extensible, API-driven, and developer-friendly. That will help you reduce the cost as well as the time to market. Then the APIs and integration. 60% of digital transformation projects start with integration. As I mentioned before, CIAM is not just a product, it's a solution we build. When we build the CIAM solution, we need to integrate with multiple components. These components can be an identity provider, a CRM system, marketing platform, e-commerce platform, a CMS, and so on. So we need to worry about how we build an integrated CIAM solution. The key enabler for integration is the APIs. All the components in your CIAM infrastructure should expose their respective functionalities via APIs. And they can be in-house or outside of your local infrastructure. For example, when someone visits your website and downloads a brochure, the website talks to an API exposed by the identity provider to do a light registration. Then the identity provider talks to HubSpot via an API to create a new lead. And while onboarding a customer, the identity provider talks to an identity verification service via an API. And upon successful verification, the identity provider may call HubSpot to upgrade the lead status to customer, and may also call Salesforce via API to create a customer record. Then also during both login and registration flows, the identity provider may push stats to mix panel via an API. So you would know how long your customers spend on login and registration pages. So you can do A/B testing to try out different page designs simultaneously and pick the most optimal one. These are just a few use cases, but in practice, the number of integrations can be limitless. When you expose an API and also when you consume APIs, you need to worry about security. We need to worry about securing APIs at the edge and also securing communications among the components in your CIAM system.